thank goodness we're finally going to get it taken down. At times we looked at it and tried to think what we could do with it to remodel it or whatever, but when the price tag of $5 million came up and the rebar that's in the walls is rusted out, it just wasn't worth doing. So finally, a gentleman by the name of Michael Heines here came along, and he takes on tough projects, he tells me. And he tore down the monastery over on Erie Avenue and built six beautiful houses over there. And I know the mayor of Blue Ash pretty well, and he says Michael and his company are doing very well for them over there on a project similar to ours. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Michael Heines, who is our next developer.
Hi, all. Just to let you know, the project in Blue Ash, it was a culmination of about 4 property owners. It had 3 different zones on it, and there are approximately 35 condos that will be going off of Reed Harmon, Old Plainfield, and they'll be in 5 different phases. And the sales have been phenomenal. So, if you drive up Plainfield, past the old Kmart going north, on the left, you'll see all the dirt being moved. So that's our project. As far as the monastery up on Erie, I don't know if you are familiar with that area. It was that property was in legal disputes for years because the church wanted to make it, I believe, a rec center, and it was against zoning. And we came in and negotiated with the church elders and conformed with the local Cincinnati zoning that was there. I didn't have to go through any variances, and 6 beautiful homes are being built, and we kept all the trees on the outskirts of the property, and they're all going in. And matter of fact, I believe most, if not all, the homes are LEED certified homes that are going over there. I have a couple other projects that are going on in Hyde Park, and then of course I have this project, which you guys are familiar about, which is been an interesting study for us. As I'm sure you guys know, the site topography-wise is pretty much, it's almost about 3+ acres, but only about 1 acre of it is really usable. When this project, which is I believe in Columbia Township, is that correct? Was put in, the part of the property is in the 100-year floodplain. So when they came and put this in, on the other side of the tracks, they raised it up out of the floodplain. Essentially, they invented the wheel for me, which helped. So part of our little area here, we're going to be raising up to do the same level of, as you can drive in, be able to drive in right to the property, which I'll show you at the very end here. Another thing that we'll be doing in working with the city of Mariemont is there was some buildable property on the very top of the hillside, which, as the neighbors here, and of course, another home being built up there it was kind of a contention over years. So our trade-off with the city is we are actually going to be donating the hillside for part of the bird sanctuary. So it's going to be going back to the city. So what we're going to do is keep our little area for our condos, which I'll show you here in a second, and then the rest will be city land and maintained forever. So anyway, so here's the property. And then to continue on with what Mayor Dan said, and these are pictures are tough to see, but because it's very dark and boarded up, but you can see the inside. I don't know if you guys can all see it, but it's very, very rough, very rough. Lots of spray paint, lots of debris, very dangerous inside. It's been stripped out for years. I assume kids have been in there. Again, it's kind of dark, but I try to take pictures that are, but it's been stripped out, spray paint, very dangerous inside. So what we plan to do is utilize as much as we can here. Here's the property, as I don't know if you guys can all see this, I'll show it to you. We're going to maintain Miami Run here. We're going to bring a private drive in. This is the hillside that we are going to be donating back to Mariemont. There'll be 6 townhouses, there's all condos, that will be up into the hillside here with views that will be over these 6 that will be down here. These will have walkouts to eventually, hopefully, the bike trail. So you'll have 6 that we can pull in with 2-car garages, and then these will be townhouses. Very simply done. I mean, I wish there was more land that we could work with, but in terms of usable property that's actually there, it's a lot of it's hillside, a lot of it's, and what we have to do as part of this is not only take down the property, we have to bring in soil, we have to, there's some soft soils there, and then bring up the soil, bring it up to the grade here. There is a waterway that's right here that we will be maintaining, and not touching the green space here and all the green that's all around over this area. It's very simple, very simply done, very simple design. I mean, again, like I said, I wish there was more property. It's just, that's all that's there that's even usable. Does anybody have any questions?
What's your time?
Okay.
What's the street on the back end there?
Up here,
Yeah.
That's
Is there a
Mount
street?
Vernon.
What's that?
Mount Vernon.
that's all the way up to the top of the hill
Oh,
up here.
okay.
So that's in the hill, it's not on top of it.
This is below the hill. The hill's up here.
Even with that other area?
Yeah, you see these homes up here, you don't even see I mean, you're way above. Even, matter of fact, here, you could stand up here and you're looking even way above the top of the building here. That's how high you are up here.
What about the land to the left of your development?
Right here,
No, right
Here?
Yeah.
it's a hillside, unusable. It's just be green.
Is that part of the sanctuary?
Yeah,
Now, are there lower townhouses, condos, or?
yeah, they're all condos. They'll all be
Okay, they're
condos.
all, no single,
Well, these are,
family.
as we call them, flats. There'll be a one-story, like a master bedroom on the first floor,
Okay.
you know, kitchen, living room, all that. And then you have an option, you'll have an option with the builder of, I guess you want to put a second story, but most what we've, like in Blue Ash, we just have people who have just done the basement and then walk out of the basement.
so how many bedrooms and baths are you talking about?
I would believe these, I believe, are 2 or 3. I
Okay.
think there's options, maybe even a 4th. There's a couple different designs, very similar like what we're doing.
So what, like 2,000 square feet or
Yeah, that's about right.
1,800?
Yeah, that's about right.
And what about the ones above it? How big will those be?
Those will be 3-story. You'll pull in a garage, and then there'll be 3-story, like a basement, middle, and then upper.
Okay,
Again, similar in terms of square footage.
okay.
Again, there's some variations with what we can do. I mean, in terms of, like, we don't really have any setbacks here. So, like, for instance, in Blue Ash, we had a couple people who, you know, could we bump out a kitchen, or could we put a bay window? You know, those kind of things. Those are kind of options that you could do with these. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on the littler ones that are high up the hill, and you said there's 3 stories,
Yes. Well, you'll pull in a garage,
yeah.
and then there'll be a second story, and then the bedrooms will be up on the
Okay,
third.
the little path that goes along Mount Vernon, then those roof lines are gonna be right even with
I'm
that.
sorry?
The path right above it, yeah, you're gonna be probably about even with that.
Well, the path, there's an old set of steps that are there, which we don't.
No, the path that's paved goes up the steps. There's a path in the back that's well used, that's at the top of that, where the old Worcester Pike Road was.
Okay.
And when
You mean
walk
the bird sanctuary, where we put the steps that goes up to your street, that path there?
When you're walking along there, you can look out and see what's down below.
It's between
But you're
Crystal
saying-
Springs
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
How
Petoskey.
high are the roofs?
Yeah,
then?
wait,
Yeah.
you're talking about, there's a path up
On the
here,
top of
like
the-
this path right here.
Right, and then there's steps that go up to the Pocahontas.
There's an old set of steps up here.
No, it's on the left. The other side, you go all the way down. The person on the end has a fence, a privacy fence. You go up the steps. You're on the street above.
Okay.
It goes out to Worcester. Those, I'm just wondering how high are the roof lines?
Well,
'Cause I see the
here,
roofs.
you're, even standing here, you're above the 6-story structure that's here.
No, the roof lines.
You're still gonna be above. Now, you're still.
Well, I'm telling you, I live at the end of Pocahontas, and when I look out over the side, I can see the roof lines to the other, that stuff that's over there, that they stuck in the hills and everything.
Let's
That's,
see which hills. Do you mean see these?
I see all of that, yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
You can see the
So-
roofs, or you can see
I can
down the
s-
windows?
Well, if I get to the back of my lot, I can see in their backyards, yeah.
Okay.
I'm at the top of the hill.
Okay.
I'm just curious, because there's 2 other houses in that corner site there no, right there in the corner. See the left of the word site, there are 2 homes in that
Yeah,
area that have the same back line.
Our stuff's gonna be like right
I know,
here.
but that's their backyard.
We're gonna be here. We're not, I mean, we're gonna be like in this
But you
little
can
tiny
see
corner
it,
right
and
here.
you can hear it.
That's where we're gonna be.
See every neighbor on the, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many total units?
It's not the
12.
same.
And who's the builder? Are you the builder?
Are they gonna,
I'll answer that in a second.
are they gonna be constructed a brick or frame or a combination?
We won't be doing vinyl. We'll be using similar standards to what Mariemont likes. I mean, we're not, obviously it's not gonna look, it's not gonna be priced or similar to what Brywe did around the corner here. It's gonna be lower priced, but not looking like this project. So no vinyl, which this project has. Will be brick, kind of a Tudorish look, because that's, we wanna maintain that. We'll have a stone entry that says private drive, that type of thing.
So that property is Mariemont.
Yeah,
This is
And this is
Mariemont,
Columbia.
this is Columbia Township, correct.
so now for fire, you have to come down
Come
in
through here.
through the
Correct.
Mariemont landing to get there.
Correct,
And
you have to come through
emergency.
this way. Yeah, there'll be no access from up above.
There isn't any, no.
We don't, and we don't plan to have any.
You
at all.
couldn't make it.
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
You're tearing down the steam plant, and do you know the size of the footprint for the steam plant and how much bigger that will be than the steam plant?
The steam plant kind of goes, I don't know if it's on here, is kind of in this area right here.
So it'll be about 2/3 bigger.
I mean, I mean, really, there's not much land there. So, I mean, the steam plant kind of takes up this much land right about in this area.
So
I mean, that we're utilizing as much as we could use.
So half to a third
Yeah,
of it is
yeah.
steam.
It's
going down
existing steam plant. I mean, there's steam plant and then there's like a couple underground concrete basins that they used to have for water that we have to take out. Yeah, and then there's old trestles, concrete trestles. Some of the stuff that's in the hillside we're gonna leave because it's part of the hillside now, after all these years. So I saw, go ahead.
Fire, police, city services,
It's Mariemont, yeah.
Mariemont,
Yeah,
we're gonna increase, take care of that.
Increase, no,
You
it's
got
gonna be 12 houses, that's a total of about what, 30, 40 more citizens?
Yeah,
You know, we were at 3,600 a few years ago, now we're down to about 34, so we fluctuate, so it's not gonna take in a whole lot.
all the old wells, the old supply wells, you're gonna get
we're
rid of
taking as much, everything out of there
Or
that's
fill 'em in,
structured.
please.
Filling in, yes, yes.
What are you gonna do with the, I'd like to have some of the old brick out of that place.
Talk to me after.
Alright, we have a history, I won't
Okay,
get into
we'll
it
talk
now.
about that later. To answer your question,
Yes.
about the builder.
Spray painter.
Jeff will send you a bill.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's my
We had
guess.
people show up at the church and when I was doing it on Erie and people like, you know, can I have some brick? I'm like, sure, just come in, just, but I wanna be there in case you trip or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, okay, I know.
To answer your question regarding builders and realtors, to add that to the question, we've been circling around with several builders. What I think a lot of people wanna see is our time frame, which I'll add right now, is we're looking to start demolition sometime mid to late July. So I think once action starts to happen on the property, then we'll start to entertain sitting down with builders. And a listing company.
Will you have the same builder for the entire?
I would like to have the same builder. It's a tight space and I don't want several kids in the sandbox at the same time. So,
Regarding the bricks,
we haven't decided yet. Oh, in Blue Ash, it's called Cedar Hill is doing in Blue Ash.
regarding the bricks, this may be misinformation, but I was told that a previous attempt to develop the property had opted out because of the asbestos problems, and that the bricks, they were not unable to find anyone to dispose of the bricks.
The bricks are bricks. Bricks are made out of brick. Asbestos is usually on pipes and sometimes on windows. And as part of a demolition anywhere in the city, Hamilton County, probably state of Ohio, if not the US, you have to file a demolition permit and with the EPA. So as part of that, we are in the process now of doing a EPA assessment on asbestos. As you can see, what's there now, there's not much left. If there was asbestos there on pipes, it's gone or it's in the air or somewhere else. Usually,
Well, and
like,
that's
for
the
instance,
issue
we
with
went to
that.
the church, for instance, that's a great example, is it was on the pipes, it was underground. We were in there for 3 months with our asbestos people, sealing it off and doing it properly as per EPA standards. Our demolition contractor has to follow the letter of the law when dealing with asbestos. So you do the assessment, that gets filed, then you file for the city, which is, I believe, a 10-day wait and then you go and you take it out. And again, it's all inspected per EPA, and we
So-
follow that.
So you're hoping to begin demolition in approximately a month, but the
We will
EPA
start in
approval-
late July. The
but
person who are doing,
EPA approval hasn't yet.
it's a
come
10-day period, that when you file for the EPA. Then you wait 10 days, and then you start.
through. And there's a study underway?
Where our assessment's underway, what basically is, our guy went in here and they look and test everything. They test if there's pipes left, they look at the window, they look at everything.
Okay.
And then we have a report, and that's filed. Everything is done by the letter. The EPA basically states you go A, B, C, D, E, and you follow these regulations, and that's what we do.
Great. I don't happen to understand what the EPA process is, so that's kind of why I'm
Well, but
asking.
basically, it's your checks and balances for the citizens, and that's what we have to follow.
When you said our guy goes in and does the inspection.
It's a certified asbestos technician, or whatever, I guess that's what they call them, or, certified company as per state of Ohio, Hamilton County, City of Cincinnati, and they go in, they do the proper testing. And then they send it to a lab, and they all the results, and then the test is generated. Or, I should say the report is generated. Yes, ma'am?
Why would you not want access from Mariemont if all the emergency things have to go through the Columbia Township?
Topography will not allow it,
Anywhere?
no. To get a road from up here and down, it's impossible. I mean,
Ruin
that,
our bird sanctuary
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
the
and
road
it's,
has been
the
abandoned,
hill is
so-
what? Who lives on top of
Yeah.
the
I
hill?
do.
What is
It's
it, like
very-
this, isn't it?
That's why I'm questioning, you're putting a pad or a footer, those are gonna be level, how much is gonna stick out?
We're raising it, it's gonna be the same level.
No, I mean for the ones into the hillside there.
Oh, these will be big, the trees will still be taller.
I know, but what, the third floor will be above ground in the back, or?
No, actually, no, the second story will be kind of walkouts here.
Okay,
So it'll be 1 story, which is, what is that, 10 feet, 12 feet?
Yeah, it'll be
14
well
feet?
below the hill.
Yeah, 14 feet above the hill. Yeah.
Well, the hill, we're gonna get the hill.
Yeah.
The hillside, so there'll be nothing.
well, you
There'll
know
be
that's
nothing, the
what
trees
happened
will
to
still
the
be
other
there, yeah.
hill,
And,
they dug out at the
But
base
in
of
the
it and
process
fell.
of you putting those buildings into this hillside, do you have to reinforce the hill?
We have we've done borings, we've done all that stuff, yes.
Cause the other
Yeah.
hillside slid.
Yes, we are aware of that, yes, which was done improperly, correct.
Behind my house.
We've been worked with we've known
Yeah.
that around the corner and all that stuff, how it was done improperly, yes, we are very much aware of that. But this, we're very much aware of that. Yes, ma'am?
Can you continue on with your timeline then? You're gonna start demolition?
Oh,
in
yeah,
a
we're gonna
month or
start
two, and
demolition,
then-
we're gonna start demolition probably like I said, in July. The question is how long it will take. I mean, like, for instance, now with weather, who would have known it was here we are in June, it's raining every day. Usually it's dry, like in Blue Ash, I mean, we haven't had a week of dry weather.
What's your inside-outside timeline for demolition and?
Demolition probably could take anywhere between a month, 2 months to getting all the stuff out of there. And then what we would do is we have to clear all trees and everything else that's in there. We have underground vaults that we have to take out. And then we have to bring soil in. And what that soil does, there's a procedure, because there's some soft soil, it sits there and then it actually compacts. And then we have to do soil testing to make sure we have a compaction for our builders that are satisfied, so it can hold a home. So, I mean, best guess, I would love it to be ready for builders before Thanksgiving. But I don't know if the weather and everything else is gonna cooperate.
But definitely by next spring you'll start building.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I mean, we need some weather cooperation here. When I did the church, for instance, we had that winter, 2 winters ago where it just didn't stop snowing and then didn't stop raining. And we were in the mud and the snow, and our equipment wouldn't work because it was 10 degrees. So
And when will you start selling?
I believe that once we start bringing soil and leveling it out, we'll have sign and start have a real estate company start to take deposits. And we start taking deposits in Blue Ash the minute we start moving soil.
Are you pricing this like you are in Bluish?
Yeah, they'll be probably a little less maybe.
What price
What was
range
the
are
price?
you looking at?
And Blue Ash, they start at $3.99.
And what are you thinking here?
I'd like to start around a little less, around there. Yeah.
Like
I don't want to
350
compete
or
with
something?
Bryway. I want a
Yeah.
different type. I mean, it needs to be
Yeah,
a little more,
Bring up.
a little better here.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are there any implications as far as the network, and I'm not even sure how much is even left, the network of distribution, underground distribution lines as far as vermin or anything else? I'm not even sure if any of that's still intact as far as steam distribution.
They're all collapsed, and I mean there's some drain lines that come off the hillside that as part of, like, for instance, this waterway here that's right here was technically man-made back in the 20s, so we're keeping that. It's now considered a what do they call it, wetland? I guess a wetland. So all that, the drains and all that we're maintaining. Even though they're man-made, we're still maintaining.
Well, we had steam pipes going up to the village from there, and then I think those,
There's concrete little inlets and stuff throughout but we're gonna keep those in because they're now part of the hillside. They've grown into the hillside. There's no reason for us to take them out.
and they're
Well, that-
collapsed.
And, well, some lines are, but like the concrete is still in there. There's no reason to take it out.
No, you don't want to, because you want it to stay
Yeah,
stable.
it's stable, yeah.
Will that have its own homeowners association?
Very good question. I've been working with this homeowners association, these guys, because we have access and we have rights to this road right here. So I've been working with them to do some joint stuff with them. And I've been apprising them every step of the way with this project. So we might have the same, we might have similar as these guys. Again, it's more cost efficiencies.
Are you saying fees or same association?
Not, well, we may be partners somehow, or we may use the same landscaper, or
Who
we,
manages their association?
I don't know the
We
name.
do our own.
I'm sorry,
We manage ourselves.
there you go. So I've been into their meetings, so.
What about the railroad? Is that,
Would you like to,
Okay, the rail line is not abandoned because they will still run an occasional train along it. We are trying to get the rail line as part of the Watson Way bike path to come right past the property. But the rail line is still technically active, even though you don't see too many trains go down there. They sometimes will back a train up to get into the bulk switching area down there. And every now and then you'll see a locomotive actually go down to McDonald's to pick up lunch. The railroads will tell you they're active because once they say they're abandoned, they have to pay real estate taxes in Ohio. So they will never say they're abandoned until the day they abandon them and sell them to somebody else.
but our hope is to work and get that part of the bike path.
And their tankers have been sitting down there for like 3 or 4 days this past week. So
Yeah.
there are times when they do come, other than to go get lunch or whatever, they do come down there and sit. There's a reason for them to be there. So, before I forget, were you going to, speaking of the railroad, do you know if things are gonna be removed by truck or by rail,
You mean the debris?
the debris?
We're talking to your meetings about that.
Right.
We're trying to still work on the logistics about that.
Okay.
We have not come up with an idea yet. We just we figure we have to get the materials out of there, so
Right,
we're working on that.
okay.
Are you also considering the same options for the fill,
In terms of what, bringing the fill in?
rail
How to get
or,
it in.
or truck?
Yes, yes, we're considering all options to get stuff in and out, so this neighborhood is not compromised. Right here.
Getting back to your building on Phil, I also live there. And my home was one of the last ones that was built. And I bought it 2 years after it was built. And the earth around my home has gone down more than a foot in that length of time. So I just, for your own benefit, question whether you're gonna be able to build at 3 months after you put the fill in.
We should be able to.
Why would you, can you
Because
explain
that
the
was,
difference?
engineering and stuff has changed. There's some other, then some of the stuff that was done around this hillside was not done the way it's done I mean,
I live on the front side.
it's still, when they brought it all down and it's done differently now. There's new stuff and new things that they do today. And that was done a bunch of years ago.
Yeah.
So it's just, things have changed. There's new technologies. So, yes, ma'am.
How will you demolish the steam pump?
Yeah.
How will we demolish it? Maybe like we did the church, with some big pieces of equipment. They don't use the ball anymore. That's kind of in
Okay.
cartoons. They have big cranes and stuff that come in and they knock it in and they take it out.
Okay.
It'll be like a claw or
It's like a
The
claw, yeah.
I just don't think the house is.
Yeah.
I live above the hill, my house is on piers, so anything like that affects it. So I just, that's why I asked. We recently got a new street, which was great, but when they were breaking up the old street, they were just hitting this street with a crane. And everything was shaking all the houses.
It's
So-
interesting that when we were doing the church, we found, the church was built around the early 50s, and they had a huge basement underneath with lots of concrete, and we had some similar questions, comments from the neighbors regarding seismic activity. And we actually put a seismic meter on our property to monitor the demolition. And what it was found that a truck going by, a train going by, there's computer seismic activity which shakes the ground, and we actually never came up to a train or something like that. We'll probably end up monitoring this
Okay.
site also to make sure, because we're very neurotic right now about the soil, to make sure that it's absolutely correct for building purposes.
When the other condos went into the hillside and they were, I don't know what the technical term is, ramming steel down in the ground or whatever.
Those are piers.
Piers, thank you,
Yes.
like I have. My house did shake, I mean, it was quite, noticeable, so. My house was built there in the 30s, and so it's been there a long time, but it has no basement and just a simple pier system.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what demolition company you're using?
We have one, but I don't want to announce it yet.
Yes, it is.
Have you already bought the property?
Yes. Yes.
Very good. Well,
Yes.
thank you very much, and that's very,
I don't know if anybody wants to personally, if I want to stand around, if somebody has a personal comment, I want to ask me some personal questions, I'll be out in the lobby if somebody wants to come and talk to me for a few minutes, or.
great, thank you very much.
And can you leave
All right,
the
no
boards
one
up?
can leave.
Leave the boards available to see?
Um,
At least
I
as
can
long
leave the
as you're
board,
here.
can I get them later, or?
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to go before the planning commission, so I'll take these to the office.
Okay.
Get them ready for you.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Well, I just meant if you could leave it
He's
for a
got
few
a-
minutes,
he's
we
got
could
a-
see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely. I thought you wanted to hang
I
on.
didn't see that well. I didn't see that.
Doug used the plug
Yeah.
ball, he owned all that
Yeah, but
property.
hang it in.
Pest and all that. He made a bunch of money, but he couldn't move from America.
Put my name in.
Dinosaur kids. Okay, Mike, I think I mixed these up enough.
I did last meeting.
Alright, we'll shake it off.
Gonna have fun with someone.
Here.
Sit in the ward.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna have,
Sister.
our guest and sitting here shaking. I don't want any excuses.
Okay.
Alright, now we're gonna have Bob do
Bob,
the number, we got 3 prizes, as you know. See, what were the prizes? I forget.
Baseball.
Oh, the night on the town, Mariemont, you go to the inn, you get to stay there.
the third one is the Pete Rose Ball.
The baseball.
That's the second one.
No, the third.
Oh, is it?
Second one.
Alright,
The first
doesn't matter, 1, 2, or 3. Somebody
to choose.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing.
Hey, just because you're the citizen here.
Gotta rescind
All right,
your
this is
title.
for the
Yes.
first prize, the night in Mariemont.
A night in Mariemont.
Okay.
Drum roll, please.
That's not fair to the people who live there and have to pay.
I'm not good at this.
The thing is, we'll talk about.
Who
the-
won?
why we-
Carl
why
W.
we-
Bender
why we
Jr.
got it.
Carl Bender, who's not here. Okay, all right, Michael, would you draw one, and then we're
Yes.
gonna have the Citizen of the Year do the ball. You're gonna do the print, cause down there you're building where the Indians used to live.
Yeah, sort of.
Some more info.
Palumbo, Barbie, your friend bought it. She's got the print.
She wanted the night in Mariemont.
This gal came over to the house, she was drunk,
Oh, she was not. I just gave her a little
she
wine
wrote a check
and
for
asked her to
$50 and
get
we had
out
to
her
fill his out.
checkbook.
Okay, all right. Now this is the one for the baseball. All right,
Come on, Pete. Citizen of the Year.
Wait a minute. Professional pause. And Fazio.
Fazio. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. We'll get the prizes out.